Water covers about 3/4 of the Earth's area. 97% of the total water is saline, and only 3% is fresh water. The majority of the fresh water is held by the ice caps and glaciers. The remaining fresh water is present as groundwater, surface and atmospheric water. About 70% of the world's freshwater reserves are in a frozen state in the Earth's southernmost continent, Antarctica. Antarctica is mostly covered by ice. To give you a perspective, there is so much water frozen in Antarctica in the form of permanent ice sheets that if it melts completely, the global sea levels will rise by about 60 meters. Outside of Antarctica, we can find permanent ice sheets in Greenland. Do you know how much freshwater Greenland's ice sheets hold? Enough to raise the global sea level by more than 7 meters. Today our topic of discussion is the extensive melting of Greenland's glaciers. Greenland is the world's largest island. It is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark or the Danish realm. The Kingdom of Denmark is a sovereign country. Greenland, Denmark proper and the Faroe Islands together constitute the Kingdom of Denmark. About 3/4 of Greenland is covered by ice sheets, which is why it is the least densely populated region in the world. Here people mainly live on the southwest coast. The sheer rate and magnitude of Greenland's ice retreat and volume loss is a cause of concern. It poses danger for places with low-lying coastlines, because melting of Greenland ice sheets is one of the largest sources of present-day sea level rise. But why is it a cause of concern? Why are we discussing it? What can be the harmful consequences of sea level rise? See, it can lead to catastrophic coastal flooding, erosion, and increased frequency and intensity of storm surges. It can wipe off coastal habitats. The intrusion of saline water can contaminate aquifers and agricultural soils. Also, there will be an economic impact of land inundation. The GDP of the coastal regions will see a massive decline. There will be a risk of getting submerged. Coastal communities will have to bear the brunt. In numbers, we are talking about more than 5 crore people in China and more than 1 crore people in India. These are not alone. Sea level rise will increase the vulnerability of people in many more countries like Vietnam, Japan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, etc. Climate change is adversely affecting the health of the glaciers. How do we measure the health of a glacier? By its mass balance. What do we mean by glacial mass balance? Simple. It is the net change in the mass of the glacier. A glacier gains ice through processes like snowfall. It loses ice through processes like melting and sublimation. We simply factor in all the processes that add mass to the glacier and all the processes that remove mass from the glacier. The net gain or loss of ice from the glacier is called the mass balance. A positive mass balance means glaciers are gaining more mass than they are losing. In this condition, the glaciers advance. Negative mass balance means glaciers are losing more mass than they are gaining. In this condition, the glaciers retreat. Talking about Greenland, the mass balance has gone negative. This means that what the glaciers here gain from snow accumulation is less compared to what they lose from melting, ice flow and calving. What is calving? When glaciers break up and smaller chunks of ice separate from the main mass, we call it calving. A pain point is that our forecasting models are highly conservative. A lot of research organizations and think tanks are being sponsored by the polluting industries to keep it that way. However, ground reality and observations put up a different picture altogether. At times, forecasts underestimate the dangers. Direct observation and on-field actual measurement is our best bet, since models cannot anticipate 100% accurately. Are things really that bad? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Look, the ocean and atmosphere are warming due to the rapid increase in the greenhouse gases. This atmospheric and ocean warming has exacerbated surface melting and glacier flow. Increased rain is also accelerating surface melting and ice flow. Warm ocean currents are intruding into Greenland. They are rapidly eroding and undercutting glaciers. As per the field study, in order to establish equilibrium with the prevailing climate, Greenland will lose more than 3% of its ice, and that is over 100 trillion metric tons. Well, that's huge. NASA's GRACE satellites demonstrate Greenland's ice mass loss. This ice loss has contributed to about 1 mm global sea level rise per year over the past decade. In a hypothetical scenario, even if we curb all the greenhouse gas emissions that cause global warming, still at current temperatures, Greenland's ice loss will raise the global sea level by more than 10 inches by the end of this century. Further, bio-albedo darkening is accelerating the surface melt. What is albedo? We can understand it as the ability of a surface to reflect sunlight. Dark colored surfaces absorb more and reflect less, so they have a low albedo. Light colored surfaces reflect back a lot of solar radiation, so they have a high albedo. Things like the presence of dark impurities such as dust and abiotic depositions reduce the albedo as they absorb solar radiation. This increases the melting of glaciers. What about the solutions? Curtailing fossil fuels and emissions, lowering population, lowering consumption, and strict regulation of the meat industry are some of the most important ways we can deal with the ongoing climate crisis. Climate change is real. Speak out for this cause. It concerns all of us. We must act now.